Here at the Level Up Co., Kelly and I truly do believe that an elevated client experience from the very first touch point of that first email all the way through the delivery of your wedding films or those final galleries are all so important. And that's why Kelly and I both have been using and loving VidFlow for the last several years, and we recommend to all of our students and our audience members to use VidFlow as well. Delivery experience truly matters. The way your clients view their films for the very first time should be a magical moment. It needs to be a professional and branded experience, instead of basic file sharing like Dropbox or Google Drive, or even Vimeo or YouTube links. Through VidFlow, clients can stream their videos through smart TVs, streaming devices, and setup boxes. Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, you name it. There are so many options for clients to watch and experience their films for the very first time on the big screen at home. And VidFlow is now offering photo delivery as well. They now support photo delivery with their new hybrid galleries, which is a major benefit for hybrid shooters and combined photo and video teams. You can now deliver your beautiful photo galleries alongside your video galleries in one place. Level up your delivery experience for 2026 and beyond with VidFlow. You can get started today by going to vidflow.co/thelevelupco. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrnovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining me for another conversation here on the Level Up Co podcast. I am here with my girl, Taylor, and we have a really exciting topic for you guys. We decided mid-podcast that we needed to have this be another podcast episode. Taylor, how are you, and what are you going to be talking to the listeners about today?
I'm great. So if you didn't catch last week's episode, I'll fill you in and catch you up. So we kind of were talking about a topic, and the idea of building out your team came up, and I was going to start going down a rabbit hole about what it is to compile a team that's going to do a really great job for your brand, to build your business, to serve your clients. And then we were like, no, wait, this deserves its own episode just in itself. So we were like, hold on, we'll talk about this next week. So here we are. You didn't listen to last week. We are here at Hybrid Co., which has been so much fun. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that Kelly and I are recording in person in a studio, which is so much fun. We've been bringing on some of the speakers from Hybrid to come onto the podcast and do guest episodes with us. We've been inviting Hybrid attendees to come onto the podcast, ask questions live. So lots of amazing content coming to you from Hybrid in Charleston here in 2026 with this setup. And you know what, Kelly, I'm kind of feeling like I want to figure out a way we can ship this home and like set this up in my house, because I would love for this to be our permanent studio.
Would it work in your house?
Yeah, I think so. I think I could do it.
In your studio office?
Yeah, I have enough room.
Really?
Yeah, I would have to like move my desk out of the way, like find a new home for the desk, but I think I have enough room on my wall for this.
And then we could just I could just fly up to you like every other month, and we could just bang out a bunch of podcast episodes.
Yeah, stay tuned to see if this dream comes reality in the next couple months.
We have a couple more days to figure this out and see if it's going to work. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Taylor, you had said one of the things for 2026 that you are heavily focusing on is building out a high-level team. You, for many years, and you source seconds and thirds for some of your weddings.
Yeah.
But I would say you don't really have like locked in people that are part of on rotation, and you're really starting to get into that market where you kind of need that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to like kind of give a summary of what we were talking about last week, like I feel like for so many people, including myself, in the early stages of business as a wedding photographer, as a wedding videographer, a lot of times like we enter this solo shooting, right? It's pretty common to be a solo shooter for your first few weddings. And then you're like, oh, this is actually a lot of work. Maybe I need an extra set of hands. But a lot of times we're not sourcing like super experienced or high quality seconds. Like a lot of times it's like, yes, it's an extra hand, but sometimes it's more of like a contractual obligation, because at a certain price point, clients do expect there to be 2 photographers or 2 filmmakers on site. And so you're just kind of filling a seat and maybe using them for like a hand here or there and not really using much of what they're capturing in your final product, right? Well, there does come a time where your team becomes such an asset to you, not only from the delivery standpoint, but from like the representing your brand, allowing you to show up in your most creative form possible because they're like kind of taking some of those like logistical problems away from you. And so yeah, as you scale, like your team becomes more and more imperative to your business overall. And so that's something I'm locking in 2026. Like I wish I had the luxury of being a husband and wife team like you and Paul are. I think that's like so perfect. Or like actually like we know a lot of people who are like sibling teams or like friends and like they're just I don't know, they're teams. And I don't have that. I'm kind of starting from scratch more or less every wedding. But I've found a few shooters who like I've had a great experience with them. They're really upholding the brand. Their stuff is great. I mean, my films are sometimes like 50% their shots. And so I'm really hoping that moving into this year, I can kind of like as close to lock in a team as possible.
Yeah. Let's talk about some etiquette on second shooters a little bit when it comes to sourcing. When would you say is the appropriate window for you to have someone lock in to that contractual obligation with you?
I think that starting the conversations of the potential to come onto a wedding is going to be a little farther out than actually locking in the date. I feel actually honestly like pretty content with locking someone in like 30 to 45 days out. I feel like that's honestly plenty and all of my team members have their own businesses and so they may be booking weddings last minute. So I would never want to like book someone 3 or 4 months out because it could potentially like well, it could do 2 things. Number 1, it could make them miss out on, like, a really great opportunity that came their way for their business, and that doesn't seem fair. But number 2, it sets me up for potential failure of, like, me thinking I had this locked in, maybe purchasing their flights or whatever, and then them canceling because they booked something for their own brand. I don't know if they would do that, but, like, I wouldn't blame them if they did. And so I do feel like that 30 to 45 day window is fine. Like, that's plenty of time. Like, if you have to fly someone in, if you have to book accommodations, like, I don't know, I feel like that's okay. Um, Now it gets a little bit less like less secure as you add multiple team members maybe that you weren't expecting. Like there's been times where like kind of last minute, like a week or 2 out, I'm like, I do need a dedicated drone operator for that
Yeah.
one. Or oh shoot, I only had a team of 3. I think I need a team of 4. Let me throw an extra person in. And sometimes that's like week of or like 2 weeks out. But I think like for a second, right now, like my second shooters play such a big role. Like I said, like sometimes my films are like 50% them. So like that for me, like needs to be locked in a month ahead.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of chatter in Facebook groups, or I see people posting about like in January, like, I'm looking to add second shooters for my weddings in June and July and August. I'm like, too soon. It's a little
Way
too
too
soon.
soon.
Too soon. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not, you don't need to go there yet. And also just really being mindful of those other people. Give them an opportunity to like book that. And I've booked plenty of weddings like 3 months in advance still. And I've had people too, like, and it's conversations like you said, I think planting the seed early on is great because
Yeah.
then they may not get picked up by somebody else who's trying to bring them onto their team, 3 months in advance. But actually, when I found out that I was pregnant with my 3rd, I we had a we had a locked in schedule already and the timing was not ideal. And so right when I found out that I was pregnant, I was getting in touch with like some of my favorites. So I'm going to shout out Julia Kettner. I reached out to her and she was on like deck for like months and months and she was like, "No, like yeah, if I'm not going to book something, I'll keep you on." And we got to that like 6 week mark and she ended up booking something last minute and I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I'll just like pivot and find someone else." And I got Ellen DeSorbo. She jumped in and like took one for the team and got added onto the team, and that was a big blessing because I was 10 days postpartum. So,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
6 weeks is fine.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like,
Yeah.
that's more than enough time, and I think people just I mean, I'm type A. I'm a type A girl. I love having my ducks in a row way sooner than they need to be, but it's one of those things, like, it kinda does just need to wait for its window. Like, it has its window. Um, a few things that also shift as you're growing your team is I think, like, the responsibilities that you're putting on your team. Um, like, I feel like there's more pressure on second shooters at higher levels. Like, there's been times where, at the wedding, due to, like, weather, like, so if the place cards keep getting blown off the plates at the reception, like, I couldn't shoot details, and so or, like, no one could shoot details, but, "Oh, now the wind has settled, but this is our time for portraits," and we've had to, like, divide and conquer, and so, like, the trust that you have to have in your team to, like, shoot on your behalf the things that you love to shoot and you know is gonna go in your portfolio, you know it's gonna make it in the final gallery or final film, like, that level of trust and, like, trust in their artistic instincts and their style and their eye and in, like, leaving them on their own to like, again, represent the brand, is insane. So like the quality of person that you do need to be bringing on at like a higher level, like increases a lot. Like I'm not just bringing on anyone anymore, before, like, it was like all you need is a pulse and know how to hold a camera and I'll bring you on my team for $30 an hour, but it's a lot of a different world now.
Absolutely. We had a actually, I loved the mindset of this, and we have a mastermind student who's now an our alumni student, and she was putting together a proposal for a planner, and it's, like, the biggest proposal that she's ever been, like, set out, and it's the highest level wedding that she's ever been considered for, and so she had this great mindset of, like, trying to figure out ways to bridge the gap because the planner got in touch with the budget, and the budget was much higher than her top collection, her top tier collection. So
Yeah.
she's like, "Whoa, how do I build this in?" She hasn't seen my collections yet, but how do I build this in to kinda get it to a number that feels not like it's far-fetched, like you're coming in half of what the budget is, and maybe that's considering some red flags for the client or the planner, and she's like, "Well, I'll go ahead and I'll increase to get as close as I can to this, but the increase is gonna be that I typically budget." I'm just, like, gonna say a number. "I typically budget maybe $30 for a second shooter. I'm gonna source for this one, if I get it, a really good second shooter, a shooter that has their own business that's better than me, like, I'm gonna bring them in, and maybe it's that she's paying them $200 an hour,
Yeah, I've
like,
paid
at
up
the
to $200 an hour.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, that's, like, the mindset there of, like, "Cool, this is one that's, like, a showpiece for me. I already know that it's miles ahead from the weddings that I typically have in my portfolio. I'm gonna build into the value of the proposal of that, and that's where those funds are getting allocated towards."
So I think that's such an important thing to say is because people think that when we preach raising prices, it's just like just to raise the prices. It's for no reason and it's not backed by something. But every time we suggest our students increase their prices, it is in alignment or like tied to an equal increase in value. And sometimes the value is something as solid as like a more, I guess, sought after second shooter who's going to deliver a better product. Or it could be even stacking another team member, maybe a dedicated drone operator, or it could be extra hours of coverage. Like, but sometimes it's more nuanced than that. Sometimes it could be like brand related or like something on the back end or experience related, but we're never just like haphazardly suggesting people raise their prices. It's always backed by value.
So many of you listening are incredible filmmakers, but if you're stuck in the cycle of always editing with no time to actually work on your business, it can really stunt your growth. Taylor and I see it all the time. A growing backlog, late nights behind the computer, and no space to focus on booking, marketing, or scaling. That's exactly why we're so excited to partner with Wanderlust. Wanderlust offers professional video editing services for filmmakers, including highlight films, feature films, documentary edits, ceremony and speech edits, elopements, and even social media teasers. And the best part is they match your style, so your films still feel like your artistry. Whether you edit in Final Cut, Premiere Pro, or DaVinci Resolve, they deliver a seamless outcome no matter which platform you use. Outsourcing your edits means more time working on your branding, making it to that networking event, and carving out time for education to actually grow your business instead of being buried in footage. Head over to wanderlust-videos.com to learn about their amazing services. And as a listener, you can get $100 off your first project with Wanderlust of $200 or more with the code LEVELUP100. If your backlog is keeping you from working on your business, Wanderlust is your solution. It's funny because we, as Level Up, when we have different things coming, we stack ads and we are transparent with numbers. And sometimes we get some haters in the comment, and that's okay. We'll welcome the haters. But a few of the comments had said like, well, there gets to a certain point where you're just ripping people off. And I'm like,
No.
no, 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 no. Like, we are looking at these different types of things. And they're like, well, this is what I charge for a wedding and I don't want to rip off my clients. I'm like, no, we're looking at it on like layer upon layer upon layer, even just about this specific small piece of the puzzle, which is sourcing your team, making sure that that team is someone that you can trust when things go crazy with weather, unforeseen circumstances, all of that. Like, that's the trust in which you're placing, that planners can trust you. They can refer you to their clients. They know that you're worth it because you can handle your team. Team management, actually, we had inside of our mastermind, we had Sarah Faluco speak, who's so amazing. And a lot of her stuff was team management. And just her using that phrase on a wedding day was something that I never even considered before.
Yeah.
And when she said that, I was like, yeah, that's just another layer. It's like your branding, it's your work, it's your your presence on the wedding day, it's your team management abilities. Like, it's all of those things. It's your not just your experience. It's
Yeah.
like people can have 15 years of experience, but still be poorly managing their team.
Yeah, you can have a second shooter go rogue and go drink a beer with the father of the bride or like be swearing, dropping F bombs in the corner. Like, yeah, I think that managing a team, I mean, people go to school for management. Like, it's like a
Yeah.
real skill that you need to learn. And it's just like business. Like, we weren't born with the ability to lead a team. Actually, so my husband is in a leadership role in his work, and he's gone to, like, leadership school and gotten, like, leadership, like, certificates and, like, all this stuff, and so he's, like he just loves that. He's, like, read leadership books. I don't know, he's a dork, but I love him. And so he's sometimes, like, he'll hype me up, like, "You need to do this, like, it's your job to do this." And, one of the core things that I've taken away from his little leadership pep talks is, your job as a leader is not to micromanage, it's to make sure your team is equipped with what they need to do the job well. So, like, this is just like an example, but it's like making sure everyone has a timeline, making sure everyone knows where to go with what equipment, what they're focusing on. Like your job is to like prep them. Like if you leave them to their own devices, like they can't read your mind. They don't know what you want and what you want the final product to be. So like it's your job to like set those expectations and prepare them so they can carry out that role well. Um and you really can't be disappointed if you're not preparing them in that way. You know what I mean? And then another thing is like leaders eat last. Like it is your job as the leader to like put your people ahead of you. So like vendor meals come, you're not leaving to go eat and leaving your team hungry behind you to capture the dance floor. It's the reverse. It's your job to make sure your team is fed, your team is taken care of, and then you like take care of yourself. It's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like with you and your kids. Like, you would never, like, eat dinner before serving your kids, like, you're gonna make sure your kids are fed, and then you eat. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that mentality, and makes that's what makes a lead shooter someone that their team wants to continue working for. You have to be a team player if you want your team to succeed.
Yeah, that is so good. I hope you guys are all taking notes. It is so, so important. And I feel like it's actually such a gap in like the education space for filmmakers and photographers, which is why we are so proud to be offering a new class dedicated just to this. Taylor, do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so this is something that Kelly and I have been dreaming up for the last couple of months, and we're so excited to be sharing with you guys. So we have a new mini course. It is all about how to source, prepare, kind of train your second shooters, setting expectations, and then a lot of the workflows on the wedding day to make sure you guys are on the same page. You are being a true team leader to make sure you're maximizing your second shooters, shooters, drone operators, assistants, whoever you're bringing on the wedding day, to where you're maximizing those dollars spent on those team members to really leverage them for building your portfolio, scaling your business, and having them be a really great embodiment of your brand on the wedding day. There's nothing worse than like trusting your team to show up well and them just honestly missing the mark and like more or less embarrassing you on the wedding day, which is a huge thing, especially if you're working with wedding planners. Like it's a great way to kind of like dim down the possibilities of getting more referrals from those like hard-earned relationships in the wedding industry, right? So like as a filmmaker, if I built my team and they were stepping in front of other photographers or like cutting them off or like being burdensome on the wedding day, like that photographer is never going to recommend me ever again. Or if they are disrespectful to the venue staff, or if they like have a faux pas or two with the planner, like there's so much where you're sending your team off on your behalf and crossing your fingers that they do what they're supposed to do. And if you don't know how to set those clear boundaries, expectations, and what they should be doing from the time they arrive on site to the time they depart, then you're leaving it up to chance. So it's something that I kind of wish I had when I was really getting into building my team several years ago. And we're excited to be offering it to you guys. So you can go to thelevelupco.com/team to grab that. We're really excited about it.
Really excited about it. It's truly so invaluable. And like they say, like you're only as strong as your weakest link. So
Hmm.
you as the primary lead shooter and the owner of the business, there's nothing really more important than having a team that is locked in on the same page. It's a seamless workflow. And so, yeah, that's why I said we just feel like we really so many people had asked us too about like what can I ask of my second shooters and how do I better prepare them? And like maybe some of your seconds who worked with you in year 2, 3, or 4, you can see are people that you just maybe need to retrain because you're on a new business trajectory. And then there's going to be others that you can see like, wow, they served my team really, really well in those early years. But now I'm looking to doing what Taylor's doing in 2026, which is building that newer high level team. And this course is exactly what goes on inside of my brain, inside of Taylor's brain when we're sourcing a high level team in order to just better develop our brand identity as a whole and the client experience too.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I think that sometimes people feel like they have to do all the things. They have to wear all the hats. They're the most important person in their business when really like your team can carry you so much farther than you can go on your own. Like I've had weddings where I have never been more grateful that I spent more money on like a great amazing team or even like flown people out for them because when stuff hits the fan, you need the right people in your corner who are like well prepared and well equipped to like see you through those things. It can be weather, it can be situations on the wedding day with angry family of the bride or the groom. It can be emergency situations. I actually did a wedding. I don't think I told you this. I did a wedding last year and somebody had a heart attack at the wedding, like in the hallway by the bathroom, and like the ambulance had to come and all this stuff. And like, what if that was like the father of the groom who was supposed to go give a toast? And like, there's so many things that can happen. It's such a like a living event that I don't know, every single person that's in that room matters and is playing a role. And it can like make or break you, honestly.
It
So
really can.
yeah.
All right. So head over to thelevelupco.com/team and grab that new course. We're so excited for you guys to be able to dive into that. And if, you can kind of tell that you've been sort of slacking on, your team management, sourcing your team members, we would highly recommend you grabbing this and implementing on it too in this upcoming season.
Yeah, we're really excited. That should be on everyone's bingo card for 2026 is like really build out your solid team. Like your business will soar. Like it's already done so great with what you've done on your own. Like if you're listening to this and imagine how great it could be with like people in your corner that are just championing you and adding to all the amazing things you've built on your own. Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.